as the economy recovers, we are also seeing a collateral of that emerge, which is a big concern. So the good news is it is a sign of our economy recovering, more manufacturing, more power consumption. But the tricky part is that it's also leading to a sharp demand for energy, which is leading to an unprecedented shortage of coal. And if there isn't enough coal, there won't be enough power generated from the thermal power stations, and that means a bigger crisis. Now, let me tell you that Power Minister R.K. Singh, and so it's the government and nobody else, has actually said it in as many words. He has said that he is preparing for a tough 5 to 6 months, and that bridging the gap, the supply-demand gap, will be touch and go. That's how close it's going to be. The Ministry of Power issued a statement saying that the demand for power has been increasing since August this year, which is a good news actually. That means that the industries are reviving and that the consumption has increased by 18 to 20% in the last 2 years as well. But why are we staring at a shortage? I mean, surely our economy and our industries are far from the point where we would be peaking in terms of economic activity. So why are we not able to meet even this low level of demand? Here are 10 points to really explain to you. Let's start with the current status. Just how bad is the situation? 104 plants currently, as we speak, are with critical or supercritical stock levels, which means they don't even have coal stock for more than a couple of days. On an average, at least they should maintain stock for 15 days. They don't even have for a couple of days. 40,000 to 50,000 megawatt of thermal capacity has less than 3 days of stock. Hence the comment coming in from the Power Minister as well of just how tricky and tough the situation is. And so the government says it will be a touch and go, and it's going to be tough for at least 4 to 5 months, even though we're doing a lot of things. Now, like I told you, one of the key reasons for it is economic revival. Adding to the problem is also high international prices. What aggravated the issue or got us to this point actually is the fact that in the last 1.5 years, when the demand was abysmally low, when there were repeated lockdowns, when there was no demand and hence no consumption, and hence nobody was asking for more power, companies weren't even investing in energy. So companies weren't investing in bringing out that much coal or using the coal to generate that kind of power. But that has suddenly changed now. So when they went about to pull out more coal, monsoons came about, and that impacted the mining operation, the transport of coal even more. So even as the demand started rising and there was a need to get out more coal and get these coal to power stations and get that power to the industries, all of that got impacted in monsoon season. One of the biggest problems that we've always had, and is not new, is the over-dependency that we have on one company. India's biggest coal producer, Coal India, that actually literally still amounts for 80% of India's coal demand, and almost very often struggles to meet that demand. Very often struggles to actually cater to those needs. But this is not just an India problem, by the way. There is an energy crisis which is going on across the world, in Europe, in UK. It's gotten really bad. In China, there is a massive power crisis which is going on. And the cycle for almost all of these geographies has been completely messed up in terms of demand and supply. And so the prices are also rising. So even if we today say that, okay, if we don't have enough of our own coal, let's start importing some, we run into another hurdle of high cost, high international prices, which means higher costs for us, which at some point would mean inflation for us. The government is trying to fix this issue. Let's talk to our experts a little bit more about what we are staring at and just how bad can it get. Debashish Mishra, leader for energy and resources at Deloitte India, joins me this evening. Mr. Partha Bhattacharya, former chairman for Coal India, and Sarita Singh, senior assistant editor for Economic Times. Sarita, For a lot of people, this has become a big story in the recent days. You, of course, have been tracking it for a while now, not just in our country, but across the world. But what's really brought us to this point now, where the minister's been, forced to say, well, we're looking at a touch and go situation for some time?
Hi, Tanvi. Yes, the situation looks really bad. But then, as the saying goes, it's bad but under control, is what the officials are saying. Um, yes, as you explained, the coal prices, international coal prices, have played a very massive role in in building up this crisis in India as well as in other countries as well. Uh, the power plants were supposed to build up stocks; they did not. Coal India supplies and dispatches were hit because of rains, because of COVID in May and June. So that's where we are. By the way, this is not the first time India is facing this kind of crisis. We have had such kind of crisis in the past as well. But yes, the this time the capacity under coal shortage is massive. It's huge. 77% of our monitored capacity is facing coal shortage. So that's where the crisis part plays.
Okay. Is there any response, Sarita, from the government, any indication on, if the situation gets worse, what's usually the order of priority for things? What gets hit first? Any specific manufacturing sectors or consumer power consumption? What gets hit first?
No, so fortunately, we have not had any outages so far. The grid is intact. The grid security isn't really under threat. So we are safe and secure that ways. The only problem I see is the high spot prices, which have today, for example, the peak price has touched 20 rupees. And the average is hovering around 12 rupees per unit, which is a huge financial burden for the discoms, which are already stressed.
Okay, let me bring in our two other experts also. And first up to Mr. Partha Bhattacharya. Mr. Bhattacharya, well-established fact that Coal India is one of the biggest sources for our coal needs and the biggest suppliers in the country. But the process itself is a long-drawn process. So if we are now saying that during the pandemic times and in the summer itself, there wasn't too much of pile-up that happened for coal stock, and the company is now beginning to work on it, just how long is that cycle? How long before they're able to actually address the market needs?
I'll come to that in a minute, but before that, let me just address one issue that you mentioned when you spoke, that Coal India has been struggling with this situation for all these years. And you are right, there is nothing wrong in that. But there is a genesis to this. You see, it was sometime like 30 years back, a committee constituted by Mr. Chari, KSR Chari, who used to be the coal secretary, was asked to examine that if power sector capacity addition accelerates, will Coal India be able to meet the demand? And the answer was a clear no. As a result of that, the Coal Mines Nationalization Act was amended. 200 odd blocks were taken away from Coal India with aggregate resources of 28 billion tons and were distributed, or rather allotted, to captive miners. Now, that captive mining segment was supposed to produce today something like 500 million tons of coal. With that kind of resources, it is quite possible to do that. But they are producing only 50. So major crisis, the origin of the crisis is there. Now, what has happened the last year, like opening up of the coal sector and commercial mining coming in, if that would have happened, say, about 15 years back, sometime in 2007, when the shortage started, then we would have never faced this kind of a situation. So Coal India has been disabled. I mean, blocks have been taken away from it, but Coal India is required to manage the situation somehow or the other. So this is the situation we have put ourselves into, and that is the reason that Coal India has to keep on struggling.
Yes.
From time to time. So that is the first part. Now, how serious is the situation? You see, the situation is definitely serious. I mean, there have been past occasions where large number of power stations were supercritical or critical. It is nothing very new, but this time the number seems to be a little daunting. But fortunately, we are at a good time of the year. You see, the rains have just passing out. COVID is gone. We have suffered in the second half because there's a lot of inundation of open cast mines did take place. Even some of the mines in the eastern coalfields is still underwater. But good days are coming. I mean, now onwards, if the monsoon doesn't, monsoon is receding and we don't have a problem there, cooler months will be coming. So production will pick up. We today have about 42 million tons of stock in hand, and this is one of the good level in September. Because normally at the end of September, the levels sometimes were even lesser than that. For example, in 2019, the level was about 19 million tons. Compared to that, we are not so bad. 42 million tons is good. And we have been depleting at about 8 to 9 million tons per month, that level. So even if we deplete during the month of October, the October end stock should be somewhere around 35 or 33 million tons. That is not bad again. Normally from November, we have a neutral month. There is neither stock depletion nor stock addition, that kind of thing.
Right.
And from December onwards, we always have a stock accretion. Production outstrips demand, and 7 to 8 million tons of stock accrues from December onwards every month. So that has been the normal trend. And I don't see any reason why it will be very different this year.
Okay.
I mean, yes, the power demand is going up. And,
well, I would totally go with you on that, except that when the power minister himself says that the situation is, very difficult right now and is going to be tough for the next few months, then one wonders that just how grave is the crisis. Government ministers, at least, are usually not so forthcoming about just how grave the crisis is. But let me bring in Debashish Mishra also on this. Debashish, there have been some reports that also suggest a bit of a policy mess. Was there any policy decisions that we could have taken differently between the pandemic peaking and now? Surely everybody expected an economic revival post the second wave, but why aren't we ready for it with the stock that we need?
So I don't think anything different could have been done during the pandemic on the policy front. As Mr. Bhattacharya mentioned, these are structural issues where the captive blocks, what was expected they would produce, or when the commercial mining was introduced. Probably these are measures which are delayed by 2 decades. But also you have to take into consideration in that entire segment, the Supreme Court order, which completely cancelled all the coal mines. And that a lot of the operating mines in private sector hands also got cancelled. And again, rebid and completely that segment got destroyed in terms of a supply force. So, it's that, people were not expecting that there will be post-pandemic economic recovery. What has surprised everybody is probably this is kind of a perfect storm in terms of meeting the through import is also something which is become difficult because it's not an India problem. I think in your opening remark you mentioned that the spot LNG prices have gone through the roof. Asian LNG prices are $25, $30. The spot coal prices, the Indonesian coal with 5,500 kcal per kg is reached $200 per ton. So earlier what was happening was the deficit, one could fill it up, and this Indonesian coal was $50, $60. So one could economically import these coals, and all our coastal plants are designed so for imported coal. And one could manage, but suddenly what is happening is globally the power demand is coming at least 300, 400 basis points ahead of the economic recovery. So if let's say in economy, India is expected to grow 10% this financial year, what we are expecting is the power demand around 13%. And that's what is happening throughout the world. So if the global demand suddenly has surged and there are supply side, constraints, whether it is gas, whether it is coal, and some of these fossil fuel sources, what happens is, in the entire global energy transition, sometimes what we ignore is that the transition itself will take at least a decade, 2 decades. And in the interim, when you stop investing in some of the supply chain in the fossil fuel,
Right.
and suddenly the demand is completely out of normal, trend, then you have this kind of crisis.
Okay, no, just to add to what you're saying to help our viewers also understand, there is a larger global problem. A lot of it, some of it is also because there was a lot of focus on alternative sources of energy, and companies further reduced their investment into thermal power plants or coal production, basically, and now that the alternative sources aren't able to keep up for several reasons, including climate change reasons, there is more demand for coal. And so this is a global crisis that we're looking at. The prices of Indonesian coal, which is usually what we look at to import, have shot through the roof. That adds to our costs. Then, Debashish, the question is simple. Should we brace for at least some kind of an inflationary impact? If our immediate solution is to import more coal at whatever price it comes, if we do manage to get our hands on, globally speaking, it will come at a much higher price.
So that imported coal, what it will fill up will be on the margin. And what, as Mr. Bhattacharya was mentioning, clearly we have some headroom. There are mined coal which has to be dispatched, and that probably happen in next few weeks, few days. I think the entire government is geared toward managing that part of it. Today also government has some measures which is 50% of the captive, both private and government companies, public sector companies, they're allowed to now sell in the open market at the notified prices. So what is happening is at a time when the monsoon has ended or receding, so the production will go up, and we had a late surge in monsoon. The dams are probably full, and we'll have a good hydro also source coming back to supplement the thermal sources. So overall, I don't see that people will really import at $200 because none of the sectors can support that kind of a price. You ultimately also what we realize is that the channel is the state electricity board or their successors such as DISCOMs.
Right.
Their financials are in a stress and they probably cannot buy power. Like Sarita was mentioning, today the spot price is at 50 rupees. I mean, you get zero, almost most of the states, the agricultural consumer pays next to nothing. And the rural residential also is heavily subsidized. The SEBs, their financials are already in a very stressful situation because of the industrial and commercial demand going down during the COVID period. So I don't think they have the ability to buy the 20 rupees per unit spot power,
Okay.
or the generators who can import it 200 and sell power at that 20 rupees. So that will be very thin segment of the entire value chain. I think the entire government message geared to address this crisis in terms of debottlenecking our supply chain and making sure that the 40-45 million ton that Mr. Bhattacharya mentioned actually reach the power plants in time.
Right. Okay. So let me bring in Sarita at this point, because Sarita, even this evening there was a statement by the government on the state of affairs, in an overarching statement about what this crisis is and what they're doing, and it mentions what was raised here earlier as well, in special team that has been formed, an interministerial team that has been formed with CA, Railways, Coal India representatives and everybody on board. Give us a sense of the various things that the government and even the companies themselves are looking at to deal with this crisis in the coming weeks.
So Tanvi, it would be unfair to say that the government isn't doing anything about it. All departments, railways, coal, power ministries, all of them are working on a war footing to, sort out the issues. There have been a lot of decisions that have already been announced, like curtailment of coal supply to projects which have more than 10 days of coal stock and equitable coal distribution. And then there have been orders to captive coal mines to increase production. And Coal India has also been asked to ramp up the supplies, and Railways has also been asked to increase the rail rakes. So there is a lot that has already been happening and already been done. And there are a lot of other orders I expect in the coming days from the government to ensure that the summer is, we don't see the forthcoming summer have such kind of crisis situation.
But would it be the demand of the summer or also the winter when otherwise power consumption for at least homes would go up? Or is that does that not make a significant difference?
Generally, the trend is that we have peak in summers and as well as in the October and November season when the monsoon is retreating and
Right.
the temperatures rise. So also the agricultural demand in the north also pushes up the demand. So these are the two peak seasons in India. We face power crunch or the coal crisis.
Right. Well,
Generally,
the crisis that we're looking at, the two are not comparable, but the war footing response that you're saying sounds very much like what we did when we had limited oxygen stock and we had to identify places that needed it first and redirect it to those locations and keep others who have some kind of backup on the back foot. Let's hope we tide through this without any further hurdles. Thank you so much to all three of you experts for joining us and giving your insights as to the kind of power crisis that we are looking at. The government has said it in as many words that there are now almost 100 power plants functioning in our country right now with barely a couple of days of stock. And this data actually is available on government websites, gets updated on very, very frequently. So the data I'm actually telling you is dated October 2nd. And then there is almost a majority of the power plants right now that don't have stocks for over 3 days. They should for about 15 days. So the government, various departments, from the Coal Ministry to Coal India to Railways Ministry, will have to work in tandem with the thermal power plants to ensure that wherever the situation is dire and the stock extremely low, coal reaches there first, even as Coal India ramps up its own supply. Thank you so much for joining us on this conversation.